All right, all right. Welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 91. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
Shigayo Mazes.
How's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been rewatching a lot of older movies and just been enjoying it. So I just finished up the Beverly Hills Cop trilogy.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they were good. The first one was the best one. Second one I didn't really like. The third one I think most people didn't like it. I liked it, but it didn't feel like Beverly Hills Cop because it wasn't like they removed the comedy out of it. He was very like angry the whole time. So it was like on a standalone movie, it was fine, but as Beverly Hills Cop, it wasn't. So the first one, the best one.
All right. We usually start off by being the weather channel for a second. It was like
Oh yeah,
extra
it got
icy
cold.
for a split second early in the morning, and then afterwards it warmed back up. But like I had to do the defrost thing, which I thought I was
Yup.
done doing that. Like, yo, we doing the defrost thing at the end of April, going into May when the weather is supposed to be breaking. But towards the end of the day, it started to look pre-summer, so I'm like, all right, this is better. Tomorrow's supposed to be even better, so it is what it is. But
Hopefully.
I'm about sick of these 30-degree days. I thought we was really done with that, and that's where it was early in the morning over here. But one last thing I just want to mention before we get into gaming. Apparently, it's NFL draft season, and everybody's shutting the freeways down, trying to get down there to be a part of it, be a part of the movement. To
Yeah, man.
And then I guess the wrestling draft is gonna be right after that. So everybody's getting drafted, man. This is like the shout out to it's draft season. It's draft
Draft
season.
season.
Um, but yeah, this is a gaming channel. We're gonna talk gaming. Shout out to everybody who's listening, anybody who is rocking with me. I do want to mention I did say I was gonna make a bunch of solo vids. I'm still gonna do it. I actually wanted to just do it on Saturday. And funny enough, because I thought about this a couple times when I was going to mention this, I'm like, I think I'm going to release this episode on Saturday. I need a little bit more hours of sleep tonight, and I'll write the script and stuff for the description tomorrow. But when everybody hears this, they're going to hear for the first time anyway. It's just going to go back to where it was before.
All right.
Just for this week, and then afterwards I'll go back to just uploading like the very next day. But yeah, man. Gaming, happy gaming. I got a couple gaming important news things I need to report based on my experience with an extremely popular Souls game named Bloodborne. I'm gonna talk about that later. It's not as important, but it's some stuff that's important that I think people should be aware of if they have a PS5 game or a PS5 and a PS4 still. Um, Other than that, it's probably going to be a short show. I think you got more topics than me, but I just want to mention real quick because a lot of people been like hooping and hollering over this TV show, and we're still talking gaming, but we're gonna just give the TV show its flowers real quick. And that's the Fallout TV show. It's a lot of people talking about it. I'm gonna be honest, I have not seen it yet, but I do want to see it. Shout out to Bethesda and Fallout 4. Apparently, Fallout 4 got another recent resurgence
Hey.
because of this show. People are giving it very, very high praise. And I think that's awesome. It's awesome for gaming because gaming can expand and it doesn't have to always be cheesy. And I'm talking to you, Resident Evil. They can expand and actually do something, and it really gets the audience going and everything. And I just wanted to mention that. Have you been hearing about the praise for this show at
I
all?
have a friend actually already yelled at me for not having watched it yet.
Yeah, and so I am going to be watching it. I don't think the whole thing has come out yet, has it? I think is it like 1 week, like one
uh,
episode a week, something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, I remember we at one point was covering The Last of Us week by week. We're kind of going to be behind when it comes to this. I don't think we're going to do that, but we could talk about it more off air how we would handle it if we were going to watch it at the same time. I think it would be cool if we did, but maybe we would just report every. We'll figure it out because we're behind technically. If we didn't start when everybody else started, but for anybody else,
Nope, all of it's
definitely
out.
all of it is out. Okay,
Yeah, Prime releases everything on the first day.
okay. Maybe later we'll talk about how we might approach like watching it for the show, maybe, or maybe
Okay.
we'll watch on our own time and figure it out. We'll figure it out. But I don't want to ignore it. If it's a great show, um, I want to give it its praise and also watch it. For everybody else, definitely check out Fallout 4. Check out Fallout 76 if you haven't. And then Epic Games, we talk about Epic Games all the time. Every now and then they give away like a lot of Fallout games. So they've done that like once or twice already, right? Where yeah, you want to be connected with Epic Games and keep up with the channel. We are very frequent on updating you on when they give out free games, and I think they went through the full Fallout series at one point. So yeah, shout out to the show. Um there That's not really too connected. It's connected to Xbox news. I just don't know if I want to go right into Xbox yet. I might as well. I might as well. Have you been hearing more news about Xbox that I kind of ignored at first? Because I don't know if you remember the news initially when they was supposed to go like 100 or 1000% third party. I was just like, I'm never covering rumors ever again because you
Oh
guys
yeah.
didn't have sources. Well, I didn't want to cover this, but right now, one thing is up in the air where it seems like it's like 100% a rumor, and then another thing is almost true. So I guess I can talk about it right now. But apparently the rumor, so the part that's not really true, the rumor is right now that PlayStation is considering putting Helldivers on Xbox. That seems to be a rumor. I don't know if there's a lot of weight behind that. I don't think it was the same sources as before. The people I said I was like, I don't trust your sources. I think it's just people were just making headlines on it, and we're further opening Pandora's box in a way almost because the whole like a bunch of random games going third party, especially if they're like live service. Helldivers is just more multiplayer focused, so it would make the most sense if that was to be one of them that would. But have you heard of this rumor?
Oh, they probably did in passing. I didn't really think about it too much.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot. Arrowhead is like really under PlayStation, like under Sony.
Yeah.
So I think when I heard it, I was just like, okay, duh. Like I didn't think too much of it, you know.
Yeah, I didn't
So
think too much of it either, and it was just like, well, if we're still talking a rumor, possibly, or there's no real concrete thing to it, I don't even know if I really want to consider it because we got a little too crazy. Not you and me, but just the gaming industry and everybody who covers gaming. They were
yeah,
doing
people
too
destroying
much.
Xboxes.
They were doing too much. Period. Like with the news, with the overreactions of it, with people like ruining their reputations overnight, years of building themselves on one side, just ruining it overnight, just over something that really just blew over a little bit. It was like only a couple things here and there, right? And I'm still criticizing like Pentiment a little bit, but still, so that was the rumor. And then the other one was Kenna Bridge of Spirits. Remember Kenna Bridge of Spirits? That
Yeah.
is supposedly going over to Xbox, and what sets this one apart from the Helldivers one was apparently this one already has a rating in the system, which is it's going to be rated the same as what the PlayStation One was, but that rating basically puts the stamp that it is going to go there. I don't know if it's going to be like a Game Pass release. It probably would be because Kenna is not really new anymore, and we have already seen Sifu go over there, right? And I think Sifu and Kenna Bridge of Spirits was like, I think their releases were not too far apart from each other.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I actually already own the PS4 version of it, and it was a free PS5 upgrade if I remember correctly. So I do have that version. I would imagine on Xbox it would be, Spark Delivery. But did you play that game? Do you own that game?
Kenna. Are you
Yeah,
talking about
yeah.
Kenna? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so Kenna, I played a little bit of it when it was on like the PlayStation like Extra or something like that. It's
Okay.
good. It's like it looks like Disney, but like plays like a Dark Souls clone.
Yeah, yeah. The
So
little girl, kind of like if Dora the Explorer was like maybe 5 years older. Like,
yeah,
and yeah, it's Dark Souls ish. Yeah. So you know me, I'm all about that, and I'll get to my other story about that in a second. But yeah, that was the other thing. That one has a little bit more weight. And then I think the last part, which I don't even really want to make that a headline at all, but people were also commenting on Xbox games being top sellers on the PlayStation Plus store or PlayStation eShop or whatever, right?
what's the Dave the Diver? I think was like really popular. Or that what's
Sea
the
of
other game?
Thieves was probably one
See,
of
it
them.
was Sea of Thieves and the one with the rhythm game.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush,
That's it.
right?
Yeah, apparently they sold really well. For
Yeah. The reason why I didn't really care too much to talk about, because some of these things that I'm mentioning we could have probably mentioned last week, but the thing about it for me is that um we're still talking about games that are more older. Like it, maybe somebody could probably try to pull a fast one with like bragging about the console war in a way. But to me, it's like if you're a multi console owner, like the idea of um 3 or 4 games going from Xbox to PlayStation, right? And then the next thing we're talking about is Helldivers and Bridge of Spirits going to Xbox. These are all we're cycling old stuff. You know what I mean? Like let's say you're somebody who has both systems and you bought some of the games on one system and you bought some of the other games on the other system so far. And some of these games are like 2 years old. And then all of a sudden they're announcing that these games are going to like flip flop. It's like if you already own them, because majority of what we're talking about I actually already own. Like, well, what do we like? What is it for? What's that person getting out of it? You know, like the person who owns multiple systems or whatever. Like you're basically looking at them telling you that okay, play Sea of Thieves, play Bridge of Spirits. And it's like they're old. You already played them. You
yeah,
already
I
own
mean
them.
it's
It's
cool for the person who doesn't have both systems,
yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
just but for the person who do, it's like, well, where's the new thing? You know what I mean? It's just kind of I don't know. Not to be too negative about it. I just didn't
I mean,
really. I don't want to like brag about something like that,
there
and then
are
just.
new things coming out though. Like I don't know, I just feel like people are blowing it out of proportion. Like if something gets
Mhm.
ported over, in my head, it's I hope it does really well because if it does really well, things get a sequel. It seems like we don't get sequels unless things get a lot of money.
Yeah,
So like it would be cool if there was a Bridge of Spirits too. Like
I
if you got a sequel that improved on it, or the Hi-Fi Rush if that got a sequel that like even did better. Like if things could get better and more grandiose with a sequel, then yeah, if you have to release it on the other console to get more money to justify doing it, do what you got to do to get that sequel.
yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the money thing because it seems like at the end of the day, for a lot of these guys, they're not really thinking too long term. They're trying to get the money as quickly as they can now, and even though they're trying to do that, they're still not getting it to an extent. Like I don't know. It's like if they are, they would capitalize a little bit better than what they are doing. Like I don't think that how do I say it? Like the games that are being ported from one place to another, but they're still relatively new. I kind of just feel like it should have just been multi-platform from the get-go, or
I agree.
because to an extent somebody's time is going to get wasted. Either one on one system or on the other. Somebody's time is getting wasted. Basically, that's how I look. That's how I'm looking at it a little bit. Like for right now, one of our topics going forward is supposed to be about Stellar Blade, right? Like 9 times out of 10, like the Xbox side is time is getting wasted right now. Like when if they had their intentions on releasing in multiplayer, because I don't believe that they're just like, oh, we just woke up one day and we just want to release it on another system. I kind of feel like some of these guys have this stuff on paper, like we're gonna put it here at a certain point, and I just feel like you should just do it.
I
I,
agree. I don't like timed exclusives because it makes it feel like whoever gets it first is really just testing it.
yeah,
Uh, so the later people get the optimized, better version.
yeah, like
Like that's what it feels like. Is you're paying full price to be a beta tester.
because there were people who were trying to make a console war argument out of like some of the games that went over to PlayStation being slightly better, which was like from Xbox, which like Hi-Fi Rush, for example. Which that one was a little bit more tongue in cheek for me, where it was just like it's rated slightly better because it has the haptic feedback thing from the controller. But it's like outside of just that, it's like, well, they had enough time to work out their kinks, you know? Like Kenna Bridge
Yep.
of Spirits, it will probably be extra polished going on to the Series S and X, right? Mainly because they've had 2 years now
Yeah.
to fully optimize it on another system. But like, I don't know. I just feel like if you know for a fact, it reminds me of like the DLCs for like a lot of games that are like they announced the DLC
If the
before the actual
DLC,
game come out.
yep,
Yeah.
and or some of them you can't have beaten the game before accessing the DLC. Like there are
Yeah.
certain games where DLC happens before the final mission.
It's like if you know you're gonna come out with that, don't waste our time. Just come out with the whole thing. That but yeah, we ain't gotta be too negative about it. I was a little negative. I ain't gotta be. Um well let's move on to another topic that might be still negative. Tell me about what's going on with WWE 2K upsetting its fans. What's happening here?
So the famous modder, what's the status? Got perma banned. So this is the
Wow.
guy status. He goes by status.
Okay.
He usually can hack the game and find all the hidden models that like for whatever reason aren't just produced in the game. So it'll just be things that they just decided not to have in the game. And he's able to upload those or take managers and to like be able to upload them as superstars so you can download them.
Mm,
Or like if a character is being like held to a certain mode for no
okay.
reason, being able to access them outside of that. Because they
Mm,
like to, for some reason, hide like My Rise characters in My Rise, so you can only access them through that. You don't get to play them in your universe mode. Or certain outfits will be held just to my faction, and you can only access it in my faction, and you don't get it in universe mode.
mm,
So he uploads that stuff. Well, they've decided to ban him, and he's not really holding that much of a grudge. He's like, the rules say don't mod the game, and he modded the game, but he does. It does seem like he was targeted because no other modders like have gotten banned. It was him,
right.
and people were complaining. Even a whole like news site that did like a whole like investigation article on this. They said that like they opened the game, went to the community creations, and within the first like 2 pages, found adult content, which is also not supposed to be there. So a lot of fans have pointed out it's
How?
like because people keep uploading images, right?
uh,
And people, other players have been complaining. It was just like, yo, I can't find anything on here because it's just riddled with adult images of
is
like
it? Are they
nothing.
just trying to be like trolling or
I
whatever?
think so, or they have the nastiest looking universe mode. But
Yeah.
like like somebody even showed it was like a model, like a creator wrestler, of Paige but naked,
Wow.
and people are just like, so this person doesn't get banned. The people who upload the adult images don't get banned, but the guy who's actively making the game more fun for everybody gets banned. Well, we keep asking you to give us this stuff, and you don't. Like there will be certain things that will just be. I think there was like a bottle of Roman Reigns with a man bun. Like because he was like sometimes when he was backstage or just
Yeah,
sitting,
yeah,
he'd have his
he'll
man
have
bun.
it like that.
It
Yeah.
was in the game and just blocked for no
Wow.
reason. Like it just you could do it. So he just uploaded the thing with the man bun. Uh
Uh,
I remember they used to do the thing with the My characters and he right away said he can't do it. Like it used to happen in like 22 and in like 23 it blocked him. Where it's just all the My characters were locked in and people were like, the My kind of ended in a weird spot and I want to continue the story in my universe mode, but I can't access any of the characters because you just won't release them
right.
in like the normal mode. So yeah, it's just weird that they're blocking the things that make it fun. And this guy got blocked. So he's like, it seems like they didn't give a warning. He said usually it's like a 1 week ban, then 1 month ban, and then like a year ban, and then like you're done. And he got like just right away just permabanned
And this is
with no warning.
the PC version, so he's banned from playing other people online.
Yep, he can't play anything or any of the online stuff.
Now he can still play the game for himself, right? He's not
Yes,
okay.
he can play the game himself. He can only be offline though. He can't play the online stuff. Now,
Okay.
what's also it is kind of messed up though, because it's just he got no warning. It was just a quick permaban. They won't really explain why. Uh, which he knows why, but like they wouldn't give like a reason. It was just
Right.
nope, you're banned
That's crazy.
for harmlessness. So a lot of people are upset. Some people that used to have people who were like Twitch streamers, if they agree and can sign this thing that lets them like beta test the game, they get early access to it. So they get to like Twitch stream earlier and like advertise the game. Some of them are dropping out from
Mm,
doing that in the future. Like a lot of people are like, it's called community for a reason. So now
yeah.
that they've banned one of the biggest guys, they're like not doing it. It's the communication is also riddled now with images of status behind like prison bars as like free status. At
Mm,
some point that became trending on X. Like it
okay.
got that big that on just a regular trending page was free status.
Mm.
So yeah, people are not happy.
That's interesting. I remember I was really heavily invested in the WWE wrestling games. I want to say in the PS3, Xbox 360 generation, where the community creations thing was just such a huge thing. It's still kind of okay. It's
Yeah,
just they dialed it
it's
back
still
because
yeah.
you're handicapped a little bit on what you can do.
Yep, it used to be you could make anybody. Like I still remember the days when Big E first came to the main roster to help Dolph Ziggler, and that night he was uploaded with a full move set, four
Yeah.
attires, looked just like him, like it was ready to go. And it was just you don't get that anymore, and you can't do custom music, and it just
Yeah, I remember that too because it used to be the days where you would watch Raw and then you go to bed, you wake up the next morning, you could turn on the game and it would be there and it would be like the top couple of them and then
yep.
shout out to this YouTuber that named I think Smack Talk. He was one of the guys I used to follow to get some of the best guys and it like when you really got them and you put the work in and do all the entrances and stuff, like it was just perfect. It was such a amazing thing, but they dialed back on it and it's kind of a shame. But I was gonna mention this with the Epic Games thing, but I guess I could shoehorn it in here with wrestling because it's kind of more relevant here. Um, I've mentioned before about giving updates on like games going on sale at retail stores. Well, I'm kind of happy to report this, even though a lot of people, downplay this game a little bit because it's more arcadey, a little janky as well. But the AEW game, AEW Fight Forever, which is supposed to be the alternative to the WWE game and also alternative to WWE wrestling, um, in Walmart's currently, wherever you can find it, you can find AEW on both the PS5 Series X and I guess PS4 for $10. It looks like
Oh,
when we were talking about a lot of those copies just sitting there, like so many. Well, they sat there for a really long time, and I guess it's one of the ones Walmart is like, okay, if we're gonna get rid of physical media, we definitely need to get rid of this. And so the copies are starting to like empty out because where I was at and stuff, there wasn't really that many, but I was able to get my hands on one.
cool.
And you know, $10 is $10. It's like, let's be honest, you're gonna go out to eat somewhere and spend double. So, um, if you don't have it, but you call yourself being a wrestling fan, even in the past, I would say just go ahead and go and get one. Go get a copy while it's out there. You go in Walmart pretty much for any old thing anyway. Just go over there and find it. Yeah. So that was $10. I'm gonna talk about a couple other games that was on sale. With the Epic Games thing in a minute. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that with that because I think it's a little bit more relevant. Um, but yeah, I guess I could also mention real quick because I'm trying to get back into watching wrestling like while it's current and not like a year or two behind. And I think it's been good lately from what I was seeing, the footage I was gathering and stuff to watch. Um, you know what I do? I'm gonna put it together this weekend, but some of the other the pay per views and stuff, it wasn't just Cody Rhodes, you know, who got a title. It was a couple other people who was getting titles from some of the other people. Is my man's name Shane Strickland? Did I say it right?
Strickland. Strickland.
Strickland. Okay. Shout out to him, a guy I've been watching. So he got the AEW title. It was somebody who's been watching since Lucha Underground. Shout out to Lucha Underground. If anybody's
Kill
caught it,
shot.
yeah. And so I saw it, he recreated the like famous photo of Kobe Bryant with the title, the NBA title. I guess like he or his shot was very similar. I don't know if it was intentional. It looked like it was intentional, but he was holding the AEW belt, and it like a lot of people try to recreate that one, but that one looks the most authentic to me. The one that he did. And you know, rest in peace to
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant. But yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. And then I just think wrestling in general is up right now.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking forward to seeing some more. But let's get back to gaming real quick. Tell me about what's going on with the game developers and this term called the no complete cause. It's a term that I hate, but I'm not gonna go there.
Yeah. So
You just
that
go ahead and tell me.
no compete clause, also funny enough, famous in wrestling, is this
Yes,
clause
it
that
is.
pretty much says when you're leaving a company, certain companies will try and say that you're not allowed to work in that type of industry
Yeah.
for so many months, uh, for scare tactics and dumb reasons.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, to promote competition, the Federal Trade Commission has issued a final rule, and they have now officially banned no compete clauses. Turns
Mm.
out game developers, I didn't know this, were also under no compete. So like when they would get fired, like apparently like for example, Lords of the Fallen devs just reported, you know, their highest grossing like money earnings ever after just releasing their staff, and like everybody's been releasing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
All of these developers would have to also sit there and not work for so long, or they're told they're not allowed to work because
Yeah.
of the no compete, and that's no more. So like if they get fired, they can immediately get picked up elsewhere, which a lot of people said that this is going to now increase the amount of indie games that are probably going to come out because there'll be people who have these ideas, were working on them, got fired, and now they're just going to finish it and like release their own thing. Or if they get let go, they can join an indie team real quick with their experience and just be like, I already got some of your stuff done. Let's go. Let's finish it. Uh, it really help out these indie developers. So it's a good thing. This no compete
Yeah.
thing being gone is a very good thing.
I find it to be a little interesting too, because in gaming, games don't get created overnight. They usually take a really long time. So to tell people not to compete, I would wonder if that actually like was an underlining thing to like certain games being delayed. It's because you're literally blocking developers from developing. You know, I wonder if that was a thing, but Yeah. I do want to take a detour real quick because this footage has been on the screen for a while and I don't think we really addressed it. But Remnant
You don't have
2.
to call me out like that. All right, I was trying
What?
my best.
Well, my
You said
bad. But
like this footage has been out for a while, and I've just been out here just dying.
no, I'm talking about we haven't addressed the boss because I remember like this game like was getting a lot of praise from reviewers because of how unique this boss is, because I think this has not been done in Souls games period, something like this.
Uh,
This was a very unique thing where it's not a creature, it's a puzzle maze, you know, like blocks and stuff on a board. Almost, it's almost like you're a tiny character on a Jumanji board or something,
yeah.
and these things are like coming down and they're gonna smash you. And yeah, this technically is your footage. You want to tell me a little bit about it? What's going on with this boss?
I love this boss.
Yeah,
Uh, like basically the little glowing like orbs you have to shoot while
yeah,
not getting crushed, and the sky ones will keep shooting at you, and everything's moving around, and that giant cube like just damages you while you're in it, and you got to take out all the cubes for it to finally stop.
yeah. And so if people was watching, you would see you know they will light up. The cubes are lighting up, and there are like lights on it. And you shoot it, and that kind of would get rid of that particular one on the cube. The cube will go back to being dark. And once you do all of them throughout the whole maze, you technically win. And so we were on it for just a little while, but eventually we beat it. And I think you'll see it in a minute. We beat it. But yeah, it was a very unique boss, and I'm still very big on Remnant 2 or Remnant as a series. And I guess they just got their new DLC that came out, and they got like one more that's gonna come out, and then they'll probably move on from this game to the next one. And we're gonna definitely have more footage. I still got a lot of this footage, I think, of this game. But we're gonna have more footage of once we get all the DLCs out and stuff. We will replay it and re-roll other areas that we didn't re-roll. For
Cool.
anybody not familiar, I guess re-rolling is just when you go back through the area again and slight changes happen. It's like the outer area is the same. It's almost like doing
For
a
the most part.
side mission or something. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so they make it like that so that you get a lot more play out of it and stuff. I think they do it a lot better than some of the other places, like or other games where they're like trying to get you to keep just replaying the same thing over and over again. It's like they're a little bit more creative with it here.
I
But
agree.
yeah, I definitely recommend playing this co-op. It's so much
Yes.
fun. I think it's designed to be up to 3 people.
Yep.
We never really got a chance to do it with 3 people, but I'm pretty sure if you're somebody who is like not as confident with doing a Souls like game,
Me.
um this is probably up your alley a little bit, especially if you're coming from, first or third person shooter, or if you're somebody who's coming off of Helldivers, this might actually be one of your best transitions if you're coming from Helldivers. Um, but yeah, definitely one of those games. A lot more like mellowed out and chill compared to Bloodborne. I'm still gonna get to it in a second. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick, and we can move on. I think I might as well just do the halfway thing here because we're actually already running out of stuff. So halfway through this, I usually always make reference to Epic Games. I talked about it in the beginning. Epic Games is our unofficial sponsor. We have not received a check yet. They did their taxes and everything, and they still did not give us a check, but that's okay. They're giving us free games, and at the end of the day, people still want free stuff, and people are still gamers, right? So this is a win-win situation here. Epic Games has games that's out right now that you can claim from now, as of this recording, all the way up until May 2nd. It is 2 games. One of them is called Industria, and the other one is called Lisa, the Definitive Edition. And I think I mentioned last week, Not sure what the game is about, but I can tell you if it's a definitive edition, it is the complete game. And so you have, the entire 100% of whatever they made. And then next week, I believe from May 2nd to May 9th, the game that's going to come out, I believe it's called Orcs. I don't even know if I said that right. Or ORCS. How you
Yeah,
pronounce it? That's Orcs. I said
Orcs.
it right.
Yep.
Orcs Must Die 3. I don't know what this game is about, and I can tell you if it's a third game, I didn't play the first two, but this one is free. Maybe you can play it backwards like how I'm doing Persona.
Yeah.
You can start with this one and just go backwards. So that's coming out from May 2nd to May 9th. It's only one game, but they got two of them right now that's available. And free is free. If you don't have an Epic account, I would say definitely get an Epic account. If you don't have a PC, you can still, claim all these games, create your name tag. Or game tag. You don't need to have a credit card. You just need to create an account and you can claim all this stuff and then get yourself a PC. Like when I get my next one in a couple months, you can log right in and everything is right there. Handheld wise, I still recommend the ROG Ally. The Steam Deck still works. And everything is all right there basically, right? Now, this is usually the free games and sales section. So I mentioned AEW being on sale for $10 in Walmart. That's not the only thing that was on sale. One other game that I did not get, but I'm thinking about actually going to get, is the new Hot Wheels game. I believe Hot Wheels something 2. It's the part 2 one. Because I don't know if anybody remember, they actually decided instead of just giving more content on the same game, they released a whole nother version of it. Yeah. And so that part 2 is actually more newer, but inside of Walmart for physical games, physical gamers, that game is $20 if I'm not mistaken, which these are usually Black Friday prices, usually $10 and $20. So that seems like a deal. I'm still thinking I might end up getting it on Xbox because I have the PS Plus version of the first one on PlayStation. I could just have one on each. So I might end up going back and get it. But that's out there for anybody who wants that Hot Wheels game. Do we know what that game's called? The full official title? I just know it's Hot Wheels something. Hot Wheels something.
Isn't it Hot Wheels Unleashed or something?
It might be Unleashed. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. That sounds right.
Yep. Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
So that's out there.
Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged.
Okay. And then the other one, which I think we mentioned them before, I was talking about developers and stuff. Lords of the Fallen, the PS5 Series X remake, I believe, which is heavily inspired by the game of the year for 2022, which I believe was Elden Ring. Lords of the Fallen is a Souls game that you can play co-op from start to finish without one person like breaking the connection, unless it's like, bad connection. And that was a game that I'm actually excited to play with my co-host. I think we're playing Borderlands 3 right now. I don't have no idea how long that's going to take, but I would imagine this would come right after that. And I initially was like, I wanted to just play it on PC when I got a PC and everything. And I didn't expect this to be on sale for a while, but it was on sale for $20. And I managed to snag the last 2 copies basically so that we can have it. And I believe you can find it at any Walmart. This is the thing that's interesting about these sales right now. I don't know if Walmart is choosing which game to put on sale. They might be doing it based on inventory, but okay. I can imagine because I knew AEW had a high inventory count for a while. I wonder if Lords of the Fallen did as well. And this is how they're like, you basically getting rid of it because it was just chilling on the shelf. And I'm talking like copies going all the way back. They just had it like that. And so that they probably trying to get rid of it. Just like how they're trying to get rid of some of the, physical media right now. But you can go into a Walmart and just look for one of those games, one of the 3 games. So it is AEW Fight Forever, which you should find for $10. The Hot Wheels Unleashed Turbo Edition 2, or Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbo Edition. That one is going to be 20, and then Lords of the Fallen is 20. I don't think I saw anything else that's like deep sale like that, unless it's like one of the older models. Like I remember, I did get, what was that game called? What's the parkour vampire game? I forgot what it's called. First person. It's
Vampire.
it's I forgot. The one where they said there's like 500 hours worth of content in it. You remember that?
Oh, the zombie game.
Yeah,
The
it's like a
Dying Light
parkour
2.
Dying Light 2. Yeah, that was one of them where I believe it was like $15, the one that I bought, which was a physical copy, and I bought that maybe 2 months ago or something. So the reason I ain't know, because I kind of just bought it, put it in the backlog, it's in the drawer. But like, yeah, like a lot of these games are like on sale right now because we're technically moving away from physical media, period, right? So you can still get, take advantage of a lot of these type of sales right now. I believe the last big announcement for games and sales, one of the games that we kind of followed just released. It's funny because I kind of forgot about its release date. Didn't forget about the game, but forgot about its release date. But Another Crab's Treasure is available right now. You can go buy it on Steam. Yes.
Hey.
Steam has the sale for $26.99. This game retails $30 everywhere. I believe the Switch version is going to be $30, and I think I said everywhere, but I think it's only on Steam and the Switch right now. So let me correct myself. But the Steam version, they're coming out the gate with a sale just to get people on it. And so yeah, this is brand new. I don't have too much information on it yet. Maybe I'll give you an update on it next week. But yeah, that just came out. And the next game, which we could probably just go into the topic because it's kind of your topic, just released as well, and this is going to be Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is you can now go and get it. And what's going on with Stellar Blade, man? You want to tell me what is your topic on Stellar Blade?
Stellar Blade accidentally fell into some controversy, unintentionally. So there's a part in the game where you go to visit. I think the character name is like Roxanne, and she has a shop. So it's labeled like our shop this way. Mm-hmm. And there was some graffiti on a wall next to where it says our shop in one part of the game, and the graffiti in giant letters says hard. So it says hard our shop with like an arrow.
Oh my gosh.
And you can look it up yourself if you don't understand. But it is a slur. And people were like, yo. Yeah, people were like, yo, check this out. This is crazy. And the devs were just like, I don't get it. Like, why are people pointing this out? And someone had to explain it to them. So then they're like, oh my God, we're sorry. It's going to get removed in the next patch. Like, they had no idea. It does, I think, what they were just doing was just looking up English buzzwords to have as graffiti. So it was just kind of bad placing. I think it's funny, but
it's kind of funny because I think I told you off air that it reminds me of like the puns that you would see in a Grand Theft Auto game, like what Rockstar would do back in the day when they were just like super edgy. But yeah, when you look at a picture, you would think it's more intentional, like that was their thought process. But it also seems weird that it would come from a game like this, because the most edgy that we've gotten about this game was really just the character's like body frame, basically. But to go there, that would be completely left field. If it was intentional, that would be crazy to hear. So yeah, they're most likely, I think they're going to remove it, right? They're removing it. Yeah. But we were also talking off air. We think that, modders are going to basically just take it and put it right back in there.
Yeah.
Just because by the time, I guess, the PC version comes out. So we'll see. That was a game. I don't have footage for it this week, but I think I'm going to pick up the demo again. I remember hearing a lot of people, like I guess the developers was commenting on the people playing the demo. Like I guess they were playing it a little too much in a way.
Uh,
Like I guess like I don't know. I guess the demo they just really wanted to play out the demo a little bit, but people were putting like real hours worth of time in just the demo alone. And I think
Dang, just get the game.
yeah, yeah, and I guess the developer was just like stop doing that and just yeah, get the game or something. But yeah, we'll see how Stellar Blade does. I do know its rating was like low 80s, high 70s for a lot of people. Which probably ain't really bad. I really think this game was probably your average Souls clone, and what gave it its edge was literally the
I think
main character's look. You know,
I think 80 is really good.
yeah. For this is probably is. I never would have expected it to be like the best. Like they took real time and turned it into like the greatest game. Like it was never gonna compete with
Yeah,
any of the real Souls games, but I don't think it had to be. It just needed to be a little bit more flashy, and that's what it was. Um, Funny enough, I kind of compare it to, not in a bad way, but like Forspoken, where it's like maybe this is what Forspoken wanted, but just didn't get. Like they wanted the game because Forspoken wasn't really Souls like, but it was very flashy. For what I
uh-huh.
remember, it was they were trying to be flashy. It was a lot of bright lights and magic and stuff. And here it's like it's flashy in a Souls game way. You know, they're slightly quicker with like their combat than your typical Souls game. But yeah, shout out to Stellar Blade. We'll see how far the game goes. I don't think we haven't done this in a while. Who's going to be in the top game of the year categories? We were saying like Power World
Helldivers
and
2.
Helldivers was going to be there, but the rest of
Uh-huh.
these games they're just kind of coming out. I think they kind of lost steam a little bit. I don't think they're really like this is upper echelon.
Yeah,
But like if we're getting like a real drought this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Stellar Blade like inched his way into somebody's category.
probably.
Yeah. But yeah, we could probably move on from this too. Okay. So I have yeah, we can do the let's do the play. Funny enough, we have a real technically a real news story for the play date where it's still somewhat tongue in cheek, but it's not like manufactured by us. This is actually coming from outside of us, where people are actually giving the Playdate some attention. So I applaud that. The Playdate's getting some attention.
Yeah.
But what's going on with the Playdate? What you want to say?
The Playdate got its own dock. Take that, Nintendo. Although their dock, as they're describing, is the perfect desk companion.
Yeah,
You can attach your Playdate to it, and it charges magnetically.
yeah.
It's a Bluetooth speaker, and
Don't it
it
hold
can
like
hold
pens?
a
Yeah,
pen.
yeah.
A pen. And it comes with a pen. It holds a pen.
Yeah, I
Just a
remember
little office
seeing
desk.
that. I remember
It
seeing it a
sounds
while
like they're
back.
marketing this for like the person who has to sit at a desk for work
Yeah.
all day. It's like take a break and play the play date a little bit
It looks like it
and then put it back.
definitely falls in the category of like something that you would pick up to fidget around with in a way. Cause
Yeah.
like the fidget spinners were like a thing almost 10 years ago, right? To the point where YouTube just like almost like ran everybody off the platform the way they were making so many videos on the fidget spinner. It sounds like it's trying to inch its way into that category a little bit while still
Uh-huh.
being a gaming device. But I do at least applaud them having some news more positive compared to like I think we reported a couple weeks ago a big truckload of them were stolen at some point. So this at least is not something like that. But
Yeah.
um
Although these aren't made yet, they're coming soon, and apparently I just read an article that said there's a snag in the development, but they're still coming out. They are coming out
okay.
this year.
All right. For everybody out there wondering, I believe this thing is only in the color yellow right now.
Yes.
Um, from the best of my knowledge. Um, I do want to address one thing about the Playdate because I thought about this for a while. It is still a possibility that I will be getting it at some point.
Okay.
Um, I
I figured you
just
would.
I think I'm kind of just waiting for, like, there's got to be a game that just says, well, I really want to play that. Right now it's the gimmick, it's just the thing in general, but it's not really a game that I want to play. It seemed like, okay, you got it,
Right.
you charged it up, you fidget with it, you put it down, you might not touch it ever again. That's kind of the category that's in. And if I'm gonna get it, I would like to play it as much as I would play the Mayu Mini or the 35XX. Any emulation device that you've seen out there for anybody who's into that. That's around the same size that does all these things with so many classic games. I pick those things up and have a ball, right? I would want to be able to do that with the Playdate with its new games, but I'll have a big proponent. I'm a big proponent for the indie games right now. And a lot of Playdate games are priced similar to indie games when they go on sale. And I got to be honest, I would probably pick. It's almost like Lords of the Fallen and AEW and stuff. Is like sometimes those Playdate games will be $10, like brand new. But if I had to choose, despite as many flaws as it is, I would buy the AEW game on the regular system before I would buy the Playdate game. I would.
Yeah, I just feel like the play didn't cost too much personally for me.
Yeah.
For something that I'm not going to use as much, I feel like it is retro, but it's not like it's retro looking. It isn't like it doesn't have the nostalgia for me because all the games are still technically new. They're not nostalgic games.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a niche within a niche, so I think they know their audience a little bit. And I don't think they're expecting too much out of it, but they're just expecting a little bit of a payday. But yeah, shout out to the Playdate. We'll come back to
yeah.
that probably as weeks go on. All right. I'm looking at the footage on the screen. It says it's got about 6 minutes left before it's over. Probably I can wrap this up right before it's over and not let the last footage go on because I think we're at the end. I just want to mention one thing that I think is kind of important because I teased it a little bit going on with like the podcast, and so Bloodborne. I want to talk about Bloodborne for a second. Now, don't get me wrong, when it comes to the game itself, it is an absolute classic. It's great. Great game. I don't have anything bad to say about the game when it works. And that's the issue. And I have to
Oh,
say that what I think the issue is a very isolated issue because I think I said this in the very beginning of the podcast, but what was happening was the game is optimized for the PS4, right? And the studio that worked on this game, PlayStation dropped, which was Japan Studios. They dropped them a while back, even before all this stuff that's been going on with everybody getting fired and stuff, right? And so I like how people are calling for a Bloodborne patch update. Maybe you might get it from, is it Blue Point that did the other one? Demon Souls. Maybe you might get it from them, but you're not gonna get it from Japan Studios because Japan Studios is gone. And at the same time, it's a From Software published game, and From Software obviously moved on to Elden Ring, and then a few other games before that, Sekiro or whatever, right? So this game, I'm thinking, never really got optimized for the PS5. I think it just didn't. So
okay.
when you play it on the PS5, it has loading issues, stutter issues, and it crashes. Not only will crash to the dashboard, it would actually crash to where it shuts completely off the PS5. and I would be like on the TV's dashboard when the system would be off. And so I looked online and saw some Reddit posts where people were saying when something like that happens too many times, you basically could brick your system, fry the system. Basically, you need a new PlayStation 5.
Mm.
Um, I don't think it's 100% Bloodborne's fault. I think it's the situation of the developers just being dropped, and so when you're dropped, you can't keep working on the game. What I think though is happening too is it's going to be one of those things where I want to caution everybody that has a PS5 and they're playing PS4 games on there. You probably have to do a quick Google search for every game to make sure there has been some form of a patch update, even if it's like a paid patch update. You just need to know if people worked on the game to optimize it for the PS5. Because if they didn't, you're better off only playing on the PS4. Bloodborne was a game that did not have a 60 FPS patch, right? So I was still playing at 30 FPS anyway. So I might as well only play it on the PS4. The version that I had was the PS Plus Collections version. That was the greatest hits version. That was a digital version. I went ahead and ordered the Game of the Year edition that I actually just got in the mail today about a couple hours ago before we went live, right? And I'm gonna actually install that version on the PS4 and try to see if I can move the save data over. If I can't move the save data over, it's not that big of a deal. But for anybody, the main thing you just need to know is if you Google the game and you know there's no PS5 version, and you look on one of those websites where they kind of give you updates to know if it's been patched or not. If you don't see anything indicating that it's patched for the PS5, you got to play that on the PS4. Like you don't want to risk your system. I don't believe that anybody should risk that system because you would have to replace it, right? And who wants to replace a PS5 for like $500? Especially like now, if they're going to actually come out with a PS5 Pro like a year or two from now,
Yeah.
you don't really want to do that. So I think that's what was happening. No, I'm not dropping the game. That's why I bought it for my own money. I wanted to, keep it anyway because it was still a highly recommended game. But I will be playing it on PS4 going forward because I still have mine. And I'm not gonna play it on the PS5 basically. Um, but yeah, that's something I think people should be aware of. If there's no PS5 update of any kind, just play it on the PS4, basically. And so that's one of those games. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I think it was just well worth, letting the audience know. But
Sure.
20 seconds left. Any last words?
No, I think just careful with your games.
All right, I'll give another update next week because I want to see if the save data carries over. But other than that, like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch you next week, and we out. Peace.